Hello, friends. Samuel Graham doing TCGs yet again. Rounded out the last of my Flesh and Blood Blitz decks that I had purchased and not yet opened. I always like to have these around just because, as I pointed out last time, they're numbered by deck as their own little set. So while I don't necessarily go for a play set of them, because I've got most of these cards elsewhere already, probably a playset already. I am a collecting. I have issues, let's just say, with my collecting, and so I still want to have at least one copy of a uniquely numbered card. So here we are. That's what we're looking at. But I also like to have them available if somebody's just like, every now and then somebody will throw out, hey, bring a stock Blitz deck game. Sure, why not? Or anything remotely similar to that, like teaching somebody the game new. Let's just have some relatively balanced, relatively simple decks to throw out at each other. For a while, I wasn't. I was only looking at CC. So I kept these around for, hey, if a Blitz event comes up that I want to try and play, and I'll just take one of these and get my keister kicked, because that's what's going to happen if I bring a real deck anyway. But yeah, just figured, hey, these have been sitting around. It's time to open them. So we got the Uprising decks this time around. We got Fi, the usual treatment. We've got a marked rare copy of the young version of the hero in foil, which looks awesome here. And then, like I was noting a moment ago, different set numbering specific to the card. Okay, so they changed up the order a little bit here, but there is the adult hero full art that I am apparently trying to throw away, which I think those are just amazing. So this is kind of a fun, this is actually in the token slot of the set. Not like a main set card. It's in the token slot, which is fun. But it is Phoenix Flame. So you look at it, it's a 0 attack for 0. 0 cost attack for 0. What? But if you control 2 or more Draconic chain links, it has +1 and go again. So there are a couple things going on here. I mean, attack with go again is always nice in the first place, but if you have another attack that happens to be Draconic, shall we say, that goes first and also has go again, and then you throw this out there, now you're getting 1. You can always keep throwing them out there and sneaking in one more little bit of damage. Plus, I'll probably be showing you some other cards that make that even more worthwhile. There's the Ninja Weapon. If you control 2 or more Draconic chain links, has go again. So that's another trend in this whole thing. Lots of building off of Draconic chain links. Both of these heroes are from existing classes. This is a ninja. Dromai is an illusionist. But they are both Draconic talented. So a new talent for this set. Building onto that. So Sash, gain 1 resource, activate only if you played a red card this turn. So that's another thing that both of these for Draconic, hey, Draconic Flame, red, get it, are building a lot off of both playing and, especially in Dromai's case, pitching red. They're both doing a lot of that. We've got the Ninja Weapon, Phoenix Flames gain +1 until end of turn. So that's kind of nice if you know you're going to be getting a ton of Phoenix Flame in. And Quelling Slippers. I like that. Quell. If your hero would be dealt damage, you can pitch 1 to prevent 1 of that damage if you do destroy it at the beginning of the end phase. But that means you can do it on multiple attacks, which is kind of cool. Rise Up. So this is either Dromai or Fi, which is cool. They've got the mechanic Rupture. If it is played as Chain Link 4 or higher, Chain Link 4? That's 4 attacks? Wow. Okay. It has Dominate and +X attack, where X is twice the number of Phoenix Flames you control. So basically it's looking for, hey, in Blitz, have you already thrown 2 Phoenix Flames out there? All right. Getting +2 attack. So Dominate's already awesome too, because it means they can't block it from hand. So there are 2 of those, 2 rare Rise Up. That's not bad. There's another Phoenix Flame for us. We get Rise from the Ashes, which makes the next Draconic or Ninja attack, so it can flare off at either one, either a generic Draconic like Rise Up or a Ninja one. Gains +3. And return a Phoenix Flame from your graveyard to your hand. Those are the shenanigans I was talking about. So yeah, you get your Phoenix Flame out there one turn, and then, okay, let's throw this out there, boost my next attack. Oh, also, by the way, I want that Phoenix Flame back. We're going to throw that at you again this turn. There are a whole lot of cards in here that either pull it from your deck or pull it from, maybe not in here, but in the set. Either pull it from your deck or pull it from your discard, and you get a Phoenix Flame again. That's the other thing that Fi does that I forgot about. You may start the game with a Phoenix Flame in your graveyard. His ability is return a Phoenix Flame from your graveyard to your hand. This ability costs 1 less for each Draconic Chain Link you control. So if you've already stacked up 3 Draconic Chain Links, oops. Free Phoenix Flame again, throw it at you. So there are so many ways of getting Phoenix Flame back. I really like this card. If you played another red card this turn, it has Go Again. So it's a 4 attack, Go Again, if you've already played another red, and it's 0. So that's another thing. If the best you've got... Oh, crap, I've got a Phoenix Flame. Crud. Oops. You know, throw whatever cheap card out there, or Rise from the Ashes into Blaze Headlong. Yeah, yes, please. So you got a couple copies of that. That's one of my... I love the art on this card too. I think that's gorgeous. But it's one of my favorite commons in this set overall, I think. So here's Inflame. It's a 0 for 1. But when you attack with it, if you've played another red this turn, return a Phoenix Flame from your graveyard to your hand. That's another one of those. So all you have to do is have played another red. So the same kind of thing. Maybe you Blaze Headlong into Inflame. Sure. Or vice versa, you know, to get whichever effect you need more. But then maybe you Rise from the Ashes into Inflame, into Blaze Headlong. Like, there are so many options, and they're all so cheap. All of those are 0 cost cards. So that's the thing. You're just trying to throw as much out there as possible, and it's not overly expensive. So here's a 1 cost. When you attack with Flamecall Awakening, if you've played another red this turn, you may search your deck for Phoenix Flame, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle. So again, that's the same kind of thing. So maybe you haven't seen your second... You got one in your discard pile at the end of the game, sure, or at the beginning of the game. Maybe you haven't seen the second one yet. Get this guy out there too. Like, that's the same kind of thing. This deck is built to... I mean, this deck. Fi, in general, is trying to go find your Phoenix Flames and then recycle them. Basically, get that little nickel and dime is what Ninja is all about, is trying to nickel and dime that little bit of damage. Because your opponent doesn't want to block... Use a 3-block card to block 1 or 2. I mean, anytime you're trying to squeak in those little bits every so often, and then get that big blast in sometimes too. But Flameborn Retribution. If you've been dealt damage this turn, when you defend with it, that's cute. That's actually, I hadn't looked at this one super close. So it's a 2-block, but when you defend with it, if you've been dealt damage this turn, you may return a Phoenix Flame. So that's kind of cool too. A nice reversal on the whole thing. Stoke the Flames. It has to hit. You may return a Phoenix Flame. And if you do, go again. But yeah, so you got all kinds of different things. And most of these are either Draconic, like up to this point, this has all been like generic Draconic, well, except for Rise from the Ashes. But they're the generic Draconic. But then you hit into these Draconic Ninja attacks that are all a little bit more basic, but if you control 2 or more Draconic Chain Links, go again. If you control 2 or more Draconic Chain Links, go again. Like, just straight up, go again. You're running into all this stuff that is just built to, let's make a pile of these Draconic Chain Links. Like, most of the deck is Draconic up to this point. I mean... So you are trying to stack that up. Trade-in's an interesting card. If you attack with it, you may discard a card. If you do, draw a card. If it's played from Arsenal, go again. You know, you've got all this stuff that even if it's not necessarily a Draconic that you're building up, this card I really like. When you attack or defend with Flex, you may pay 2. If you do, it gains +2 attack. So you're like, hey, why would I want to defend and gain a +2 attack on this? The answer to that is an ability called Phantasm on the illusion, some of the big illusionist cards. Basically what it says is with a non-illusionist card, so illusionist kind of has trouble against itself in that regard a little bit. If you block with a card that has 6 attack, it just poof ends the combat chain. Like, you just have to wrap up and go home. There are ways around it, but that's the short version of what it means. So if you are like, I have Flex. Oh, they're coming at me with some of the illusionist cards will be like an 8 attack kind of thing. They're coming at me with an 8 attack or something that has a nasty on-hit effect. Like, if they hit me, I'm going to have to discard a card or they're going to destroy a piece of my equipment or whatever the case may be. You're like, but I've got Flex and I can pitch something for 2 resources. So you attack with it, you pay 2, suddenly it's a 6 and is popping the Phantasm. That's what's going on here. So I like this card just because you can use it either direction. The 2 extra attack isn't exactly terrible if you find yourself in a pinch where not against illusionist, you just, I need 2 more damage. Let's do something. I want them to block with another card. Whatever the case may be. I like that card a lot. And then more Draconic attacks, honestly. Yeah, so even more of this is Draconic. And then a couple of old school wounding blows just for cheap blue pitch attacks at the back end. That's not bad. That's not bad at all. I still no like mentor card or like some big surprise in that one. I think this is just my affinity for Draconic too. I bet the other decks are perfectly fine, but my gut inclination is that I definitely like that Phi deck better than I liked the Tales of Aria Blitz decks. But I love Dromai. However, this is the Blitz deck that I have heard things about that if are true, I don't think I like this per se. So let's find out. I think the foiling on here is awesome enough as we start off. We love that. We love our foil heroes. So we've got Ash. Okay, so these are just straight up. Okay, the first one's just a straight up Ash. But what it's got, so material. While an Ash is under an object, it gains Phantasm. That's what I was just talking about. You've got the when this is defended by a non-illusionist attack action card. That's the other key port, which what else would have an attack? Anyway, with 6 or more attack, destroy this and close the combat chain. That could be a pain in the butt. So here's the other thing. The flip side of most of the Ash cards has a fun friend called Aether Ashwing. So first off, it gives you Arcane Barrier, which is a handy enough ability if you're going up against something like Wizard. But you'll notice 1 attack, 1 health. What? So Draconic Illusionist token, and it's a dragon ally. So what you are looking at here, you will have cards that will be like, hey, turn an Ash into an Aether Ashwing. So basically, you know, it's a 1/1 that has Phantasm, so they can just pop it and make it go away if they want. But if you start stacking those things up, that's a whole lot of potential damage. Now you look at it and you're like, yeah, but there's no go again on that. Except for Dromai's weapon. Dragon ally, well, okay, so the weapon allows the dragons to attack. Let's get with that first, because you notice that doesn't actually say anything about attacking. Dragon allies you control have once per turn action, 0 pay to attack. So yeah, 1 damage, yeah, whatever. It's doing ninja style, right? Yeah, but what if you got 10 of them? Well, you still don't have go again. If you have played a red card this turn, dragons you control have go again while attacking. So if you got your 10 Aether Ashwings out there, and you have played a red card, ruh-roh, you get to do a lot of attacking. Now they can just cut off the entire thing if they've got a big attack action that they throw at you to block it, pop the whole thing into your turn, essentially, which is fine. Because you know that they gave up a big attack to cut that off. Like, that's not the end of the world for you either. Otherwise, you're going to go through. Now, there are big dragons that are cards in your deck. What I've heard about this particular deck, though, is that it does not come with any of those bigger dragons. I don't remember that for sure. I have just heard that. I've not looked. So let's find out. So this is another destroy it, transform target ash you control into an Ashwing. It's got that quell ability. So it's got all this stuff that stacks up, adds up to, hey, let's make some Ashwings. Red hot. I haven't looked at this one in a while. So Rupture, this is the whole play as chain link 4 or higher. When you attack with this, reveal top X cards, where X is the number of draconic chain links. So hopefully a lot of those 4 are draconic. Deal damage equal to the number of red cards revealed that way to any target, then shuffle. So any target could be an ally like a dragon, especially if there's a big old dragon, something like that. It could be your opponent's hero. It can be like some of the auras have like defensive capability like that. It can be attacked directly. Like anything like that is what you're looking at. So we've got more of these. Draconic attacks. This is another one. I don't think this one was even in the 5, but it seems like it would be at home there too. If it's played as chain link 4 or higher, has +2 attack, but it's a 0. So again, you play this first. Well, actually, no, you would close off with this. You'd attack with 10 dragons and then use this as your closer because you clearly had chain link 4. By that same token, if you've gotten 10 dragon attacks in and you've still got the stuff to go, bring this out and hit them for another bunch of damage. So there's a lot of cool synergies in the draconic stuff here. So here's another good one. Rake the Embers. So this is a red. So again, if you're looking for something to trigger the go again for the dragons, red Rake the Embers gets right on out there. You create an ash token, then transform up to 3 ash into Ashwings. So again, you're getting it out there. So if you've already got 2 out there, you create one, then flip all 3 of those over into Ashwings that can now attack with go again. Like that's what you're going for here. Billowing Mirage, when you attack, transform an ash you control into an Ashwing. That's not even hit, that's when you attack. Plus it's got go again. So that's another one of those building up to it. Skittering Sands, transform target ash you control into an Aether Ashwing. It is +3 attack until end of turn. Pretty self-explanatory. Hey, let's have a one night only, really powerful Aether Ashwing. Dust Up, when it hits, create an ash, then transform an ash you control into an Ashwing. So again, like that's just the whole thing, is building out your ash tokens, turning them into dragons, throw them out there as much as you can. So here's what I was talking about with big old guys. This one's not as big as some, but so again, it's a red 1, attacks for 5. It's got Phantasm, so a 6 will pop it on defense. When it's destroyed, create an ash token. So it's one of those. Yeah, an ash token is only, it's not a dragon yet. It only becomes a 1/1 dragon in this so far. But still, you're getting something even if they pop it. Embermaw has the same ability. It costs 1 more, but 3 more damage. So they are more likely to throw cards at you to kind of stop this one. That's the kind of thing that the Draconic Illusionist is trying to do. When you attack with Sweeping Blow, do an ash token, go again. But it's also cheap, it's red, it's 3. Like, you come into this, especially in constructed, or like when you've got the other dragons that you want to get onto the field, you're going to need some blues because some of them are expensive. So you get some blues for pitches for pitching later on, and just for squeaking in go again attacks and stuff like that. But a whole lot of the strategy for Dromai is let's do as much red as we can. Spears is another fun one. Just one. It's got Phantasm and go again for 5. Enigma Chimera costs 2 for 8. Phantasm. So that's the kind of thing that you've got in this deck, though. You're trying to play reds, pitch reds, get those attacks in, get those Ash out, turn them into dragons, and come at you. Ravenous Rabble is an old school. Reveal the top, blah blah. It's pretty standard, but it's a 0 cost red attack with go again. Still, kind of on theme there. Wounding Blow is an interesting one. Like, I get it because it's a red. It's a 0 cost red attack, but without go again, I'm not as clear on that one here. Critical Strike is sort of the same deal. It's a 1 for 5 and it's red, but doesn't have go again or anything like that. Brutal Assault. Now, Brutal Assault, I understand. Why do I understand that? Because this is not an illusionist attack action. It is a generic attack action for 6, which means these are mirror match helpers to pop something nasty coming at you. Healing Bomb, gain 3. Again, red, so still nice there. Sigil of Solace, gain 3, 0 cost, red, same deal. Oasis Respite, that's an interesting card. So it's a red, it's got 1 cost. Prevent the next 4 damage that would be dealt to target hero this turn by a source of your choice. So you're picking 1 source of damage and preventing the next 4. If they have less life than each other hero, they gain 1. So you're potentially healing a little bit too. That's actually a kind of fun card. I'm not sure how great it actually is, but it can save your bacon. It can block a pretty decent chunk. You're playing it on your opponent's turn, but you're probably still pitching a red to play it, which gets you another Ash in the field. Like all that kind of stuff. So it's still going in the synergy of the deck. I don't know how great it is, but it is playing well with others. Sink Below is a old standard. And of course, I love this art. This was when they released these card sleeves, I knew I had to have them. So yeah, that's the one thing. Like, I like Dromai overall, and for commoner, this is the route to go with her. I mean, obviously, because the other dragons are all rare or majestic at this point, so you can't play them in commoner. So if you really are just like, I'm playing Dromai and you can't talk me out of it, that's the kind of style to go. Just tons of reds, all that jazz. Let's get the little Ash Wings out. A couple of big attacks just to keep your opponent honest. A couple of non-illusionist attacks that are 6+ to save your bacon. That kind of concept is exactly what you'd be going for in like a commoner or, just any kind of deck, a more casual kind of experience, or just a sealed kind of thing. The other dragons are pretty cool, though. Like, they all have their different effects. One of them has, like, when it attacks, it can do an additional 1 damage to 2 different targets. There's one that I think I mentioned. I can't remember if it was this video or the previous one. Like, you can't play cards or activate abilities on your opponent's turn. So if you are attacking them, they would not be able to activate like an equipment ability to block something, different stuff like that. One destroys equipment, one steals items, things like that a mechanologist might have. Like, they all have their cool little niches that are appealing as well, and they have varying levels of health, varying levels of attack, but all are equally applicable to they have go again. They attack for pay 0 to attack because of the weapon, all that jazz. I really like Dromai. She doesn't quite seem like she has caught wind with some of the biggest players. I say players, I mean decks, not like the actual person slinging the cards. That she hadn't quite caught up to those just yet, and maybe she doesn't. I feel like Prism did, so I feel like Dromai almost has to at some point. But we shall see. I'm curious. Dromai is probably my pet project right now that I want to keep looking at and see what I can do. Along with consistently, my first two decks were Dorinthia and Azalea, and neither of those are going away either. Dorinthia, my first favorite, Azalea, who I desperately want to be good, and Dromai's kind of in that same category too. So yeah, that's kind of my thoughts on these two. I wish the Dromai came with a couple of the rare dragons, but for what did come in it, I think it's pretty decent. I actually like what it's doing a lot. The Phi deck, I think, is also very good. Again, some of this might just be my bent towards Draconic and the Uprising set in general, as opposed to Tales of Aria, but I think I like these two decks both better than the other ones. Not to say that they're necessarily going to win every game or are actually better, but I enjoy them more. But yeah, that's my journey through the rest of the pre-constructed Blitz decks. I hope anything that I have had to say was remotely helpful to any of you. I know I said this last time too. These are pretty solid products. You can pick them up usually between, $10, $12 at your LGS if you're looking for a way to get started. Or with this or any other game, grab somebody talks about it. For this, hit me up if you know me, or don't, whatever. Any games you see me cover, I can't build you a deck for all of them. Flesh and Blood, I could probably get you something going, and a commoner style, no frills thing, and just send it to you for cost of shipping. I'm sure there are tons of people, if you have a local community for the game, that will do the same thing. If you buy one of these and want to use it as a framework, just want some, hey, can I have a bunch of bulk to fill this out? Hit somebody up. Any of these games that I cover so far seem to have communities that are super willing to help a new person get in. So for any of the games you've seen me talk about on here, especially ones that I've talked semi-regularly, think Flesh and Blood, Genesis, Legions. I don't know as much in the Magic community, but at least the three newer games that I cover a lot, talk to somebody, see what they got. They will do their best, I'm sure, to help you out. Especially if you've got local folks you can talk to your local store, pick up a deck from them and build it out. Whatever you want to do. But this is just a fun thing. I was building some decks for some friends, and I always keep just some, no frills, probably garbage, but hey, let's sit down and throw garbage at each other, and I'll teach you how to play, and you can take these home kind of decks. Just to, see if somebody's even interested, and if they like it, they can have it kind of thing. I was building a bunch of those because I had sent off some to a friend recently. And that's kind of what gave me the idea to go back through these decks, just for some more inspiration for what to do with future things I might send out. But yeah, no, I hope this was helpful. If I can be helpful, reach out. Anybody that you see covering Flesh and Blood, any of the other games I've talked about, reach out to me. Anybody else covering them, hopefully they can be helpful too. That's how these games grow. I said this video was not going to be as long as the other one, and it is not, but it is a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. I had way more to say about Dromai and Phi than I did the other ones, apparently, which is all right. But I was trying not to take advantage of your time. I hope you don't feel like I did. Like and subscribe if this was at all helpful, interesting, or you just like the sound of my voice as much as I do. I hope that you have a fantastic rest of the day, and I hope to be hearing from y'all soon. Thank you very much. Have a great rest of your day. Bye, y'all.